Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hip, hip. Hooray!
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Queen, have a seat and take your crown.
Queen of Wine.
Welcome guys. So on our last and final day of our tours of the winelands of South Africa, we pay a visit to two of the oldest wineries, wine estates or vineyards in South Africa. Let's start off from Delius Doll. Let's get to know what really their secret is.
Just to explain a bit on the vineyard, on the aspect of Delius Doll, is that you can see we're about 340 hectares big. We've got about 200 hectares under vines. And what's special about Delius Doll is that we are 100% dry land. So if you have a look in the vineyard, we don't have any irrigation in the vineyards. We only rely on the rainfall. At the moment, it's quite high for the. If you take the average compared to the last 10 years, we are on about 700 mils per year. It was the past 2-3 years was about 450 mils, and before that about 600. So we had a lot of rain this year. The vineyards are looking quite well. It's growing at a very fast rate now with the heat that we have. And at the moment, we're standing in a Cabernet Sauvignon block. The red sides are more on this side of the farm, where our white cultivars are on that side of the farm. So we planted. We always look on the areas to plant it with the sun. So the sun rises on that side, will set on that side. So we wanted the red sides with it, so we don't have too much heat damage on it. Where our whites are more facing the morning sun, so we can get. Where the sun breaks down our methoxyparasines, so on the whites, so that develops us more tropical side on our Sauvignon Blanc. In the moment, you can see a lot of stem shoots that's been pulled out. So at the moment, we are suckering, so we're taking out all the excess leaves. That's not leaves, shoots, so that we can get a bit more space between, and that we can develop more flavor packful berries to ripen it straight through evenly, because we dry land, so we do not take yields off from 20 to 25 tons per hectare. We look at more at 10 to 15 tons per hectare, because we dry land. So we have to make sure the vines are not overcropping or too much crop, because if you have too much crop on dry land, you won't evenly ripen all the grapes, just to maintain the quality.
guys. My name's Martin. I'm the chef at the restaurant on the estate. Morning. I'm just going to explain a little bit about the food that we've paired with the wines that you guys are having today. So, starting on the... Oh, no. It's a little bit... Oh, my God. So, we've got a vermouth cured trout. So, the vermouth that we use is a local and slightly sweeter vermouth, and then we cure it with a little bit of sugar and salt. On top of that, it's a horseradish cream that's made with parmesan, lots of fresh horseradish, and then a little bit of cream and gelatin. That's the one on this side. Okay, on top of that, you also got a little bit of trout caviar, and then we've got a smoked garlic and asparagus dressing that goes over that, and a little bit of fresh dill. Okay. In the middle there, we've got that's a rice paper roll. Inside that, it's like a crispy fried chicken that we do. We marinate it in a little bit of buttermilk, and then we use a Korean chili powder to make like a sweet and sour sauce that goes over that. And then we've got a little bit of a herb salad in there, mint, basil, a little bit of coriander, and then just a little bit of cucumber as well. So it's nice and fresh, and it's got that little bit of spice coming off the chicken as well. And then we've got a yellowfin tuna, so that's local. It's caught in Hout Bay, so it's quite nice and local, fresh wild fish. Underneath that, we've got like a wonton little taco, so you grab the whole thing and you eat it. Underneath that, pico de gallo, it's much like a salsa, so fresh cucumber, onion, and a little bit of tomato. Okay, then we've got a smoked jalapeno aioli, so it's like a garlic and smoked jalapeno mayonnaise that we do with that, and then just a little bit of fresh radish and coriander on top of that. Okay, so that's the whole thing. It's a local trout, so it's farmed, and then we cure it. So we cure it for about an hour. Yeah, so and the caviar is also from the trout. Yeah, so it's a seed loaf crisp on the bottom. So we bake the bread and then we freeze it and we slice it super thin, and we give it a toast so it's nice and crispy. And that's it. Awesome. Enjoy, guys.
It's always intriguing, always exciting to hear the history behind wine production, behind the families doing these productions, and of course how they come up with the names for their various varieties, or even the brand itself. Well, beautiful story here at Delius Doll. From here we're going to Groot, Constantia, to get to know more. Apparently they are actually one of the very oldest wineries or wine estates in South Africa. And guess what? They are the owners of the Lady of Abundance red wine.
Since that date, it has been a sort of a tourist attraction. In the early days, boats was coming past the Cape, and the passengers on these ships normally came out to Groot Constantia. So it's been a tourist attraction for many, many years. It produced wine of a quality that attracted the attention of people in Europe, and people are, if you go back into the history books, you'll see that people has written about Groot Constantia wine products as one of the first luxury goods items, and that's why a French king ordered wine from Groot Constantia in the 1800s. Napoleon, King Louis Philippe, well, he was the French king that ordered wine, and Frederick the Great of Prussia. They were all clients of Groot Constantia in those early years. And Groot Constantia produced that wines because we had an exceptional climate and terroir to produce these wines. Today, nothing has changed. We still have that terroir, and we still have all the attributes to our disposal to produce good wine. And as a proof, I can tell you that in 2015, our 2013 Chardonnay was awarded with an award making it the best wine in the world, or the best Chardonnay in the world. And only a few years later, our Sauvignon Blanc of the 2019 vintage achieved a similar award at the International Wine Challenge in London, being the best in the world. So it just shows you this is a very special place in terms of quality wine production, in terms of a tourist attraction, And just in terms of what you see, architecture, it's a beautiful place. So welcome. Trust you're going to enjoy it.
Okay, we can take a walk straight up the road, all the way to our original farm gates. And then from there, we're going to go into our historical precinct, have a little bit of MCC. After the walk, you've earned it. And then we're going to do some wine tasting after that. Okay? So I would recommend, if anyone does need the bathrooms, the washrooms now, I can show you where that is. There's an estate winery. So everything that we produce on this estate, all of that is the wine that we make. We make the wine from all those grapes. So that is why we don't allow any grape picking on the estate unless it's directly from our qualified harvest team. Because every single bottle of wine that we produce on this estate is made from the grapes in this vineyard that we see behind us. Yeah? So we're going to take a short walk up. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Groot Constantia. Some things that maybe Jean has covered, some things Jean maybe has not covered at this stage. But I think that he has mentioned that we were established in 1685. Now, when we get to the top of this hill, we're going to look down a valley and you're going to see all the way through to the ocean. And that is what makes this land so beautiful, is that we get this cool breeze from the ocean. It bounces off that Table Mountain slopes and it creates the perfect conditions to make Groot Constantia wines or to make wines. If anyone has any questions along the way, please do ask me, okay? I feel like I didn't prepare a speech, but you must please ask me the questions along the way. So currently we are in end of October, starting into our season on the farm over here. Our harvest season is from round about February, March. So we'll start our harvest season in February. In fact, actually South Africa, by the way, is one of the only countries in the world that actually knows the birthday of their wine industry. So we were born, not Groot Constantia, but this African wine industry, on the 2nd of February, 1659. So we know the exact date in which our industry was established. And that's thanks to at the time, the governor of the Cape at the time, Jan van Riebeeck, and he wrote in his diary, "Praise be to God, today wine was made for the first time using Cape grapes." So based on that, we're over 300 odd years old. Everyone's forging ahead of us. So we focus a lot on sustainability on this estate. And not just environmental sustainability, but the entire spectrum of sustainability as well. So we are a proud WWF champion, a wine champion. So everything that we do in terms of our harvesting, our winemaking processes, our farm management styles, in terms of on the land, is all to ensure the future and safeguard the land and the environment for our future generations. Our viticulturist and estate manager puts a lot of effort into sourcing the right materials and sourcing the right kind of produce to ensure that the land is at its optimum natural kind of estate, and to ensure that as little as possible is made to damage the land. Do you have any questions?
Earlier you did speak about the cool breeze. Which type of grape varietals are great for this kind of condition?
So, that's an amazing question, actually. So Constantia as a region, we are really well known for our Sauvignon Blanc. So Constantia, all the wine farms around us, we're 9 different farms or 9 different wineries. We are known as a beautiful, cool climate region for our Sauvignon Blanc. It's got a distinct taste profile. On Groot Constantia, however, because we have a variety of different slopes and appellations, is that we produce predominantly red wine on the estate. So we've got everything from our world-class Sauvignon Blanc through to Merlot and Cabernet and Pinotage. In fact, we're one of the only farms in the valley to produce Pinotage, which is a truly South African grape. So we have about 11 different varietals on this farm, and they all produce single varietals as well as 2 red blends from Groot Constantia. families, kids, right? So they can come here and experience the unveiling of this 100-year-old wine. So in 2021, 2021, a really old bottle of Grand Constance went on auction at the Fine Wine Auction in London, okay? It was a bottle of 1821 Grand Constance, 1821. This fetched on auction for under R1 million, just a 960,000 rand. Someone purchased a bottle of 1821 Grand Constance. In fact, this was the sweet wine, the Grand Constance sweet wine, that was served to Napoleon that John was telling you about earlier this morning while he was in exile in St. Helena Island. And you can see over the years how the bottle shapes have kind of changed, but still remained kind of, you can see there's a specific style there, and that is what we have mimicked our modern day version of the Constantia wine on. Yeah. So what we're going to do now, there's hardly any more walking. I think your walking is done. We're going to walk out and up the staircase.
Welcome once again, guys. I'm still the same person. I haven't changed, huh? Let's see after a couple of glasses, and then we're gonna see what's gonna happen. So now, guys, like the first one we are doing, it's our rosé. Okay, so this is now like a still rosé. It's not like a brut rosé. So this is a blend of 6 varietals. So that is like 4 reds and 2 whites. So that is like your Pinotage, Merlot, some Shiraz and Grenache, but you get like the Sauvignon Blanc and the Semillon. So the 4 reds, what we do, we leave them on the skins for about 4 hours. So you know the red grapes, inside they are not red, they are white. So the color is coming from the skins. So we do what we call skin maceration. So in a nutshell, it's just like to destem those grapes, and then you put them in an open tank, and then you leave it to soak on those skins. So the longer you're gonna leave it on there, the darker the color it's gonna be. So if you want like a lighter color, you have to just leave it like for a few hours, and then you press. And then this one was left for 4 hours. We press, we blend to the Sauvignon Blanc and the Semillon. So the wine is much more lighter, stainless steel fermented, it's not wooded. So that is going to be more like your strawberry, raspberry, and then you can get that candy floor smell on summer fruits coming through onto your palate. So it's a dry wine, it's not a sweet wine. It just gives you that perception of sweetness, but it's not a sweet wine. Yeah, very fruity wine. So this is a wine which you can enjoy like with your you can have it with your oysters, or you can have it with your salads, but I'll call it your summer drink, everyday drinking wine, or your breakfast wine. Skip your coffee, do some rosé. You know, if you may ask Leila, we all got one for every occasion here. Yeah, so it's such a beautiful one. So you guys, you are more like seasoned wine drinkers or tasters, we can say.
1 week season.
1 week season. Okay, lovely, man. So like, like I always said to people, like, wine tasting normally, it doesn't start like by sipping your wine. It starts at the moment your wine is in the glass. Because when the wine is in the glass now, it can give you different indications about the wine itself. So you'll be like just sitting there talking to your wine, like, okay, what is this wine all about? So when you put it like in the glass like this, the first thing we all like notice, this is more like a pink coral color. So now you start to think, okay, this can be only a rosé. But like with your white wine, I'm gonna explain more about when we come to the Sauvignon Blanc. Also some of the things which is just like a visual assessment you can do onto your wine. So whenever you're ready to move on to the next one, I will move on to the next one. But like this is a beautiful wine, enjoy it, take your time. And like when you sip your wine, just like swoosh it around your mouth. to just have that overall feel in your mouth. And that is gonna be like your tip of your tongue will get like more sugar, and then you get like more like central, which is more like savory, umami, and then you got like more like bitterness on the side there, saltiness at the back. So your different parts of your tongue will pick up all those different flavors, you can say. As you can see, like they say, like this is an easy drinking wine, but you still get that long finish onto your wine, which is like when you drink the wine, when it's gone, you can actually like still feel the flavors developing onto the palate. So the one which is say it's a short finish, it's just like you drink the wine, after 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you don't even realize what the wine was tasting like. Yeah.
The combination of rich history, the preservation of the environment, and of course that ever sweet aroma of fresh vines is what continues to make Groot Constantia one of the most preferred wines in the world. Signing off from Groot Constantia, one of the oldest wineries in South Africa. My name is Nanatufo Boateng.